Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, I love getting your day started off on the right foot. So to help with that, I use an inspiring quote. Today's is from Brené Brown, who said, "One day you will tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide." Wow, I love this one. Oh, because when we go through that trial, when we go through that struggle, it's not for nothing. We've learned something along the way, and it's something we can turn around and tell somebody else about. We can help them because likely they're going to face this same struggle. And if we can help them get through it more smoothly, that'd make you feel better, wouldn't it? Helping them not have as bad of a time as you did? Yeah. Let me tell you what scripture this really brings to mind. It's all the way over in the book of Revelations, chapter 12 and verse 11. And they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony. Testimony. I got to looking at that word in blueletterbible.org. And by the way, if you don't use blueletterbible.org, I would highly recommend when you're doing your Bible studying to figure out what these particular words mean, where the origination come from. What exactly does it mean in the scripture? Well, I came to testify, and I love the definitions here. Okay. So I'm coming down through here, and in Strong's Concordance, it says what one testifies, testimony, universally, in a legal sense, of testimony before a judge. Wow. Think about that for a second. Think about testimony. I always think of testimony as, how I went through something tough, but God got me through it. And at the same time, testimony means something completely different, doesn't it? Because I testify that I am covered by the blood of Jesus, and it's only by his power that I am made right. It's nothing that I could have ever done. It's all about him. So what's your testimony today? What are you testifying to the people around you? We're all doing it. So what are you testifying? What are you proclaiming to the people around you? We do it in so many ways. Sure, we do it with our words. We also do it with our actions. We can do it with our attitudes. We can do it with the way that we make people feel when we walk into a room. So many ways that we testify. Oh, goodness. I wish I had this song handy, but there's a song that came out years ago, back when I was just getting started in Christian music. And I absolutely loved it. It was from a group called Avalon. I don't know if you've ever heard of that group before, but I had their CDs, I had their tapes, I would blast their music going down the road on my way to high school, on my way to junior college at Wallace State. And this group just so vocally in tune. The harmonies were so on point. And they had this song called Testify to Love. I don't know, have you ever heard that one before? Yeah? Well, I'm trying to just go ahead and pull it up for you because I think we all need to hear it. Yeah. So let me do that real quick. Okay. It'll take just a second, but if it's been a while since you heard this song, you're in for a treat. This is going to take you right down memory lane. And if you've never heard it before, well, guess what? You're really in for a treat because it's so good. So here they are, Avalon and Testify to Love.
For as long as I shall live, I will testify to love. I'll be a witness in the silences when words are not enough.
4 cavities. 4 cavities. That's what I joked about with my wife last night. I had a dentist appointment, and so I'm like, 4 cavities, Cassie. 4 cavities. I did not have 4 cavities. Oh, it was great. I love messing with her. But no, I did have a dentist appointment yesterday. Dr. Law's office in Arab. Let me tell you, they're pretty cool up there. The lady who cleaned my teeth, I really enjoyed the conversation. She did an excellent job. And hey, no cavities. Everything's looking good. You know what? I have 3 of my 4 wisdom teeth. I guess 3 only decided to come in. 1 is missing. But, Dr. Law had originally, when I first started seeing him, he said, we may want to take a look at getting those wisdom teeth taken out. How often do they hurt you? I'm like, well, maybe once every 2 or 3 months it'll get sore back there. And he said, well, brush them really good. Maybe we can just hold on to them. So yeah, I've been able to hold on to him. And yesterday he's like, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job. Everything looks fine. So yes, I don't want to have to go through getting my wisdom teeth pulled. No, thank you. But I'm so glad that I had that dentist appointment yesterday, because this morning when I got up to make breakfast, I go to put my little chicken sausage things on the plate. And I usually eat oatmeal like every morning, but I've been kind of slacking on the oatmeal lately. I'm tired of it. So I got a biscuit. See, we went to Cracker Barrel on Tuesday night. And I love the freebies. They bring you all those biscuits. Well, we had biscuits left over, so we brought them home. I've had them in the fridge ever since. And this morning, I put them on that plate with my sausage to warm up in the microwave. And I put it in there for a minute with those sausages. And then it sat on the counter for a little while I cooked my eggs and stuff. And by the time I was ready to eat, that thing was hard as a hockey puck. It was awful. I started to bite into that thing and it crunched through. Oh, it was like a crouton. It was terrible. So I had to throw that one away. I went and got another one out of the fridge. It was cold, but at least it was soft. But those Cracker Barrel biscuits, oh my, they are so good, especially when they're hot right there at the restaurant. There's something about the saltiness of all the butter on the top and the bottom. I love that stuff. Anyway, so moral of the story, I had a good report from the dentist office, and be careful how you warm up your leftover biscuits from Cracker Barrel. Here's Toby Mac. Help is on the way. Hey, big shout out to Joel Modest. Looks like he's back home in Palm Coast, Florida. Glad you made it home safe and sound, Joel. Thanks so much for hanging out with us. I'm always looking for ways to be more efficient in what I do, and sometimes it comes down to lists or even a nice calendar that I can write on. In fact, I was at the thrift store just last week, and I found this really nice dry erase calendar. You put the days on there, but you write notes. It came with a couple of dry erase markers and a couple of magnets. It was only $4. I'm like, I've got to have this because I need to organize things a little better. So I've been thinking, what am I going to put on there? What do I need to write on this calendar? Where do I need to put it? In the studio? In my office? Where does it need to go? Hey, if you could use some help organizing and getting your day started off on the right foot without all the anxiety that comes with that big rush when you first wake up of, oh my gosh, I have so much to do today, but you don't really remember what it all is. Yeah, I've got some advice for you coming up, and I'm going to get a little help from a man. You might have heard of him, Matthew McConaughey. Yeah, he's going to help us all out. This whole idea of making lists, did you know it's a biblical concept? At least that's what I found in Habakkuk chapter 2. Verses 2 and 3, it starts with this, and the Lord answered me, write the vision, make it plain on tablets, so he may run who reads it. Wow. What do you think about that? Write it down. We could use some advice like that. Hey, I wonder if you write things down. I actually use my notes app on my iPhone all the time. I have so many notes on here. And whenever I need to search for one of those notes, I'll actually go to my notes app and I'll go into the search bar and just type in a keyword. And it'll pop up. So it's nice to have it because whenever you have a thought, you don't want to lose it. Well, you need to write it down. How about to get your day started off on the right foot? What would happen if you actually already had a list prepared for the day? Wow, that could be pretty effective, right? Well, I'm not the only person who thinks that. Matthew McConaughey, he's given that kind of advice too. Take a listen to what he suggests and how he puts it into practice himself.
You ever go to bed at night and you start thinking about all the stuff you got to do the next day, and it gets kind of intimidating and your brain starts going and you're having trouble getting to sleep because you're like, oh yeah, I got to do this, and this. How am I going to remember? Wait, how's my day going to flow? And then you wake up in the morning and you're like, oh yeah, I've got to do this. Write it down. The night before, write your to-do list down. Make it long. Put fun stuff on there too, like have my first cup of coffee, hug my wife, call a friend, wear my favorite t-shirt. Put fun, easy stuff on there, because what's fun is the more things you get to cross off the next day. Did it, done. The more we feel like we accomplished, and we did. But write the list down, and you'll have so much fun crossing them. I've got 26 things to do today. I've already crossed off 7. I got 19 more to go. It's not even 10 a.m.
And your word of life today comes to you from Hosea chapter 10, verse 12, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. And if you have suspected a theme with the words of life, you may be onto something. Yesterday we started talking about planting things, and today the verse reads like this. I said, plant the good seeds of righteousness, and you'll harvest a crop of love. Plow up the hard ground of your hearts, for now is the time to seek the Lord, that he may come and shower righteousness upon you. That's good stuff right there. Hey, that concept is all throughout the Bible. Seed time and harvest, planting and reaping, right? So, hey, what are you planting today? Be very intentional in the words that you use, especially around your coworkers, around your family. Be very gracious. Use some positive words. Talk about your faith. Plant some seeds in some people today. Some really good ones. Yeah. And watch God water it and make it grow. Why don't you share that word of life with somebody? We've got it ready for you across all of our socials. That's Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter, and TikTok. And it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. Here we are on a Friday. I know everybody's excited. The weekend is almost here, and some of the most excited people right now, I think, aren't even the kids. Nope, they're the teachers because, hey, this is January. Do you realize that yesterday was 1 month since we had Christmas, but it feels like it's been 6 months already? But for those educators who are in charge of all those kids all day long, whew, can you imagine how much stress is put on them? Well, I know somebody who gets it. First, my wife, Cassie. She's a teacher. Second, this is Miss Gibson. She is over on TikTok. Gibson is here, is her handle, and she's always sharing some love with you teachers. I wanted to help her share the love right here on the radio. So take a listen to what she has to say about all you weary teachers these days.
Educators, I need you to know that if you're feeling completely exhausted, like drag your butt to work, drag your butt home, you are absolutely not alone. It's January. Yesterday, my desk calendar said this: I'm at a place in my life when errands are starting to count as going out. First of all, yes, they do. And secondly, was there a time when they didn't count as going out? At least for us. You all need to remember how incredibly over-socialized we are, how our need for peace at home comes directly from the fact that our jobs are one of the most social jobs, one of the most exhausting jobs out there. We are in charge of entire groups of humans, anywhere from kindergarten teachers who are in charge of making sure that those humans stay alive for a long period of time, to high school teachers who are trying to make sure that kids who don't necessarily want information gets the information so they can graduate. And we don't really get breaks during the whole of our day. Most of us have kids coming in and out of our rooms during our lunches. If you get a prep period, they're in and out then. It is like nonstop focusing on the needs of 30 other humans to 200 other humans at any given time. And yes, that sounds crazy, but that is our job. And that's the reason you're tired. And that's the reason I'm tired. And it's okay to be tired. And the fact that we're most tired usually in January has to do, I think, with the darkness. But you put all that together and just know we're going to be okay. And I promise you're not alone. And it is going to get better. And thank you all for doing the good work.
Yes, thank you all for doing the good work. Y'all are amazing. We thank you from the bottom of our hearts. I don't know how you do it. So many kids at one time. Please get some much needed rest this weekend. And keep rocking it because you are awesome. Now, I've got a really good feeling that somebody's going to win some gift cards coming up here after this song. It's Good Feeling by Austin French. Stick around. Say it with me in 3, 2, 1. Give me the horn. All right, now let's go ahead and crank that engine, please. Oh, there it is. And then I guess let's go ahead and start that music so I can say, hey, everybody, it's time to play the Carline competition. It's your chance to win some gift cards this morning. 3 to be exact. 1 to Gunnersville Chick-fil-A, 1 to Albertville Home Bakery, and 1 to the Caring Heart Thrift Store in Arab. It's a trivia game. I ask a question, give you the cue to call. You call me up, give me the right answer, then you win 3 gift cards, 1 to keep, 2 to give away, and I want you to tell me about the 2 people you're going to give your extra gift cards to. Yeah, share some love here on the radio. So you ready to play my game? I sure hope so, because I'm ready to ask this question. When birds fly south for the winter, what are they doing? Are they hibernating? Are they liberating? Are they exfoliating, or are they migrating? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, 256-505-0885. When birds fly south for the winter, what are they doing? Are they hibernating, liberating, exfoliating, or migrating? 256-505-0885, and there is my caller. Yay! You just never know where somebody's at when they call into the radio station. You never know exactly what's happening. You assume maybe on a Friday morning, if a kid calls in, well, they're on their way to school. But that's not always the case. Yeah, you're about to find that out. A pretty amazing little phone call right here. You're going to have an opportunity to help with something. Good morning.
Morning.
Who am I talking to?
Ellie.
What are you up to today?
Getting my new car.
In the car? Okay. All right. I got headed to school.
She's actually we're on our way to Children's in Birmingham.
Oh.
To get nasal cautery surgery.
Oh. Okay. So this has been something that's kind of been on the schedule for a while then, huh?
Yep.
Okay. Tell me a little bit more about this. How we can pray for her.
Well, she's been having nosebleeds, and this is the one thing that they feel will help that.
Okay. If it's okay with you, we'll pray with her here on the radio.
Okay, sure.
Awesome. Very good. All right, so let's play my game first. We'll have some fun real quick. Make this trip to the hospital a little less nervous and nerve-wracking. So, you ready to play my game?
Yeah.
All right, let's do this thing. When birds fly south for the winter, what are they doing? Are they hibernating? Are they liberating? Are they exfoliating? Or are they migrating?
Migrating.
Migrating is correct! Congratulations to you! So stinking smart you are. You just won 3 gift cards. What do you think about that?
Happy.
I'm happy too. And I wonder what 2 people you're going to share the love with.
My 2 friends, Ruby and Taylor.
Ruby and Taylor. Tell me something special about each one.
Ruby's my BFF.
Okay.
And then Taylor?
Taylor's also my BFF.
But what do you like about them?
They're nice.
Because they're nice.
They're nice. Hey, that works. And yes, you know what? Best friends forever. It doesn't have to be just one person. You can have multiple BFFs. I believe in that wholeheartedly. So, yeah. Well, thank you so much for playing my game, and congratulations. I need to grab your address real quick so I can get these gift cards sent your way, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Okay. It is 5.
All right. She goes on and tells me a little bit about the address, but it was toward the very end where I wanted to take an opportunity to maybe pray a little bit. So I wonder if maybe you could help us with that right now. Let's just do it live. Heavenly Father, in Jesus Christ's name, we lift up Ellie to you. We thank you, Father. You know her by name. You're with her right now in the car ride on her way to Children's Hospital. And surgery always seems so tough for adults too, but especially for kids. I know that it seems like something minor to go in there and help these nosebleeds, but Father, you know exactly what she's been dealing with. This has been a problem. You are the great physician. You know exactly how to fix that body because you created that body. So we ask you right now to touch her from the top of her head to the soles of her feet. Please help this whole nosebleeding problem stop. Father, please help guide the surgeon's hands as they're in there and they're doing their thing. Father, please help everything go very smoothly. And let her have fun today in the middle of a really tough, weird, nervous, nerve-wracking time, Father. Give her joy during this time, please. We know you will because you're such a good Father. And we thank you for it right now. Thank you for this healing. Thank you for your guidance in Jesus' name. Amen. I'm telling you, God works in so many cool ways, and I'm so glad to just be a little part of it. And hey, you're a part of it too. Thank you for joining your faith with mine as we got to pray for Ellie Turner on her way there. All right, I expect a good report from Ellie and her mom. All right, let's do this thing again, shall we? I've got another question right here. I wonder if you have what it takes to win some gift cards. We're about to find out. So here we go. In mathematics, complementary angles make up how many degrees? Is it 90, 360, 1,080, or 180? 256-505-0885 is the number to call. Again, in mathematics, complementary angles make up how many degrees? Is it 90, 360, 1080, or 180? 256-505-0885 is a number to call, and I'm waiting on your call right now. Again, 256-505-0885. Now things get serious. That's right. We're down to the wire. One question. 2 answers. Which one's correct? Here we go. 50-50 shot. In mathematics, Complementary angles make up how many degrees? Is it 90, 360, 1080, or 180? That was the 4 originals, so we're cutting it down to 2. So here we go. In mathematics, complementary angles make up how many degrees? Is it 90 or 180? 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, 256-505-0885. Complementary angles. Does it make up 90 or 180 degrees? There you go. And there's my caller. 88.5 JFM. Good morning.
Good morning.
What's going on?
Nothing much. What about you?
Oh, I'm doing okay. What are you up to today?
I'm heading to school.
Heading to school. Are you driving or are you riding?
I'm riding.
Riding.
I don't have my license.
You don't have your license. How old are you?
I'm 12.
12. Oh, we still got a little ways. Still got a little ways, but it's going to be fun. All right, so let's see. What are you really looking forward to today about school?
Eating food.
Eating food?
Because today's hot wing day, if I'm not mistaken.
Hot wings! Yes! Aha! Do you like ranch dipping sauce with your hot wings?
Yes, sir.
Oh, good stuff. Ooh. I've developed a way of eating hot wings. I put one in my mouth and I pull it out like completely clean. It's amazing. Those flats, those are my favorites. Do you like the flats better or do you like the little drumsticks better?
I like the flats better.
You like the
They're
flats?
easier to block.
Exactly, right? Yeah, okay.
That, and they got more meat on them than the drumsticks do.
I got you. And they're tasty. Oh, I love some. You're making me hungry this morning. All right, so it's Friday. You got any big plans for the weekend?
No, sir, I don't think so.
Okay, just gonna chill, just gonna relax.
Possibly.
Sounds like a plan. I think I'll be doing some of that too. All right, so here we go. I got a question for you. I don't know how good you are with math, but we're about to find out. Complementary angles make up how many degrees? Is it 90 or 180?
90.
90 is correct. Congratulations to you. You just won 3 gift cards. What do you think about that?
Pretty awesome.
Come on. You got to give me some more enthusiasm than that. Tell me again.
It's awesome!
Yes, we're getting you hyped up for a Friday. All right. So this is my favorite part. I get to ask you about 2 very special people that mean a lot to you. You're going to share some gift cards with. So who are they?
My daddy and then my mother.
All right. Mom and dad. Which one's in the car with you right now?
My mom.
Your mom? Okay, let's talk about dad first. What do you love about that dad of yours?
Funny.
Yeah? All the time?
Not all the time.
Hey, as dads, sometimes we try a little too hard, and it comes off a little corny, but we understand that. That's why dad jokes are called dad jokes. So, another question for you. What's so special about that mom that's in the vehicle with you right now?
I don't know. There's a million things I could say, but I'm going to have to say one. I don't know.
You don't know, but there are a million things, and I think that's very well played. I think it is. Because you love her so much, you can't even put it into words, right?
Yeah.
Uh-huh. Very good. All right, Ava Collins, can I talk to Mom real quick?
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hey, Steven.
How cool was that?
That was pretty cool.
I love it when they shout out their parents. And I mean, come on. She couldn't even say anything. She's like a million things. I got to get it down to one. I can't even do that. It's like 26 letters is not enough letters for me to put together a sentence to tell everybody how cool my mom is. That's pretty cool. I love it. Well, hey, I just wanted to ask you, how'd it make you feel?
It made me feel proud.
Awesome. I'm glad to hear it. Now, y'all have the best day ever, and thanks so much for calling.
You too, darling.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Tell you what, we have a lot of fun here on the Car Line Competition. And yes, that's one of my favorite parts is all the love getting shared out there. You know what? I think maybe it's time to do something here. Something I haven't done before. And I think, yeah, let's just go ahead and do it. So a while back, Felicia Jones over at the Caring Heart Thrift Store said, Steven, we've got a bunch of these like Wendy's little keychains, and we want to give them to you to give away on the radio. However you want to do it. It could be a Friday. It could be any day you want to do. It's just, we've got a few of them here. We wonder if you'd like to have them. I said, sure, Felicia, that'd be awesome. So these little keychains get you like a Junior Frosty all year long whenever you purchase something from Wendy's. So for this little keychain, I thought, hey, let's go with a little Bible trivia, shall we? All right, so let's do this thing. I'm going to clear this phone line, and you tell me, according to the book of Genesis, on the first day, God created what? Man, animals, fire and water, or darkness and light? 256-505-0885 for a Wendy's keychain that's going to get you a Junior Frosties all year long with a purchase there at Wendy's. 256-505-0885 is a number to call. Again, according to the book of Genesis, on the first day, God created what? Man, animals, fire and water, or darkness and light? I've already got my caller. Stay on the phone line with me while I start this next song, and I'll get your answer. Here's Caleb and John with Hallelujah Feeling. I'm getting ready to talk with you about something pretty cool. It's futuristic. You know, you remember back in cartoons you used to watch, or even some TV shows and movies, they had some futuristic stuff like flying cars. Are we closer to actually having flying cars? The answer is yes. And I'm going to bring you some proof coming up here on the show. Stick around. Hey, we got to finish up that car line competition. I had a question. Guess what? I got an answer, and I want to play it for you now. 88.5 JFM, good morning.
Good morning.
Hey, what's going on?
Nothing. Dropping my kid off at school.
Okay, very nice. What's your name?
Summer.
All right, Summer. What's your child's name?
Logan.
Logan. What do you think about Logan? Pretty cool kid?
Oh, man, he's amazing.
How old is Logan?
He is 15.
Oh, that's a very interesting age. Woo.
Yeah.
Yeah. So the attitude's still good?
Yeah, for the most part.
I love that hesitation. But hey, sounds like Logan's pretty awesome. Well, hey, I've got this question here. It's a little Bible trivia, and it's a little different from our normal car line competition because we want to give you a Wendy's Frosty keychain. But you know what? I'm feeling really generous this morning, so I think I'm going to throw in the rest of the car line competition too. So you get 3 gift cards and the little keychain. So you ready to play my game?
Yes.
All right, let's do this thing. So according to the book of Genesis, on the first day, God created what? Was it man, animals, fire and water, or darkness and light?
Darkness and light.
That's exactly right. Congratulations to you. Somebody paid attention in Sunday school. Hey, that's a lot of love you can share too with those gift cards. You want to shout a couple people out here on the radio?
Well, my kids.
Your kids? All right.
Yeah.
So we know about Logan.
Yeah. And then I have Jordan, who is 17, and then my daughter, who is 18, and she's expecting her first baby.
Oh my. Wow. Okay. Very cool. So already a name picked out?
It's a secret. She's not telling anyone.
I got you. All right. Well, thank you so much for shouting them out. Tell me something special about each one of them real quick.
Oh, man. Well, they're just, each one of them have their own special relationship with God and their faith.
Yeah.
And that, to me, is just, it just warms my heart. It's amazing.
That is amazing. That's good stuff. You can't ask for more than that. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's good. All right, then. Well, thank you so much for calling me up, sharing the love, winning some gift cards, and the Frosty keychain. Let me grab your address real quick.
I would rather you just pay them forward.
Whoa, okay. We can totally do that. Wow. All right. You're going to bless somebody's socks off.
I was just excited to get through. I've been playing in this car line game and can't never get through. So I was excited when I was the first one.
That is awesome. Today was your day.
Yes.
Well, let me ask you one more question while I got you on the phone. Why do you listen to this radio station?
Oh, man, because it's my time of worship, my one-on-one. And it really brightens my day. Like, really. As soon as I get in the car, that's the first thing I do. And I just blare it, and nothing else matters. It's me and God. Yeah. I love it.
That's awesome. Thank you so much for those kind words. You know, we're just trying to help make your day a little bit better, and I'm glad we're doing that.
Yes, absolutely. Keep doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Have a great day.
You too.
All right. Bye.
Bye.
Wow, Summer's so generous, and she has rolled all of those over, so somebody's going to stand the chance of winning on Monday morning 6 gift cards and a Wendy's Frosty keychain. How cool is that? So be here, okay? We'll be playing it at 7 o'clock. All right, coming up here in about, after this next song, basically, we're going to talk about some futuristic stuff. We're going to talk about flying cars and how close we are to actually seeing them. Yeah, so stick around. Here's Need to Breathe and fall on me. And, we're also going to talk a little bit more about that money you're going to need to buy something like that, or the lack thereof these days anyway. We'll get a little help later on in the show, actually. It's amazing to me how little things can take you back to younger times. You know what I mean? Like maybe all the way back to your childhood, and you saw something on the TV that really excited you. And I'm going to play a little theme song from a cartoon. See if you remember where this comes from. You'll get a whole lot of help because it's kind of in the theme song, but still, for your listening pleasure.
Meet George Jetson. His boy Elroy. Daughter Judy. Jane, his wife.
There you go. Of course, the Jetsons right there. And I got so excited watching that because they had flying cars. How cool would it be to have a flying car? Oh, and by the way, you remember the robot? The robot who would clean up everything? Well, somebody actually made one of those. They attached it to a Roomba robot, and it's got like a body on top of it now. It looks just like the robot from the Jetsons. I saw it on TikTok the other day. I'm like, no way! But hey, flying cars. How close are they to actually becoming reality? Because, this was put into all of our heads way, way back. So this actually premiered before I was 20 years before I was born. September 23rd, 1962 is when the Jetsons came out. So a lot of people have been wondering, when are we going to get the flying cars? I'm happy to report to you that they are soon coming. In fact, I'll get a little more details to you after we play a little audio clip from an expert on the topic. You see, this guy, he's in the business of selling private jets. We're talking about $22, $25, $60 million jets. His name is Steve Varsano, and he has a little something to say about the future of flight. Take a listen to this.
The next big thing in aviation and transportation is flying cars, and they're called eVTOL. So a helicopter is a VTOL, VTOL, which is vertical takeoff landing, and eVTOL is electric vertical takeoff landing. So the buzzword is eVTOL. Really what they are is passenger carrying drones or a flying car. So they're going to start with like a hybrid and then an electric and then go hydrogen. Basically, they'll get rid of all small jets and helicopters and stuff like that. Obviously, if they're electric or hydrogen, they're zero carbon emissions. There's no noise. It's a drone noise, not an engine noise. And it's going to be changing a lot of transportation.
What do you think about that? So flying cars in the form of people carrying drones, highly automated as well. In fact, I got a little more info for you. So on June 12th of 2023, the FAA issued a special airworthiness certificate to a flying car model developed by Aleph Aeronautics, allowing the aircraft to fly in limited locations for exhibition, research, and development. It's pretty cool. Now, this particular model was developed from a concept in 2015. They created their first full-size flying car prototype in 2019, the Model A. And it's a road-legal passenger car. It'll fit 2 occupants with a driving range of 200 miles, a flight range of 110 miles, sleek and compact. The vehicle is designed to look much like a regular car. It needs no runway because it lifts off vertically, and it should even fit into a traditional parking space. How cool is that, right? So yeah, we've got cars that kind of drive themselves now. We got cars that park themselves, and now it looks like we might be having some of these flying cars, highly automated. Press a button, tell it where you want to go, and it takes you there. How cool would that be? But with all that, you got to have money to purchase stuff like that, unless they put it up on some kind of like a Uber, call an Uber, but it's an actual drone to take you from place to place. It's going to change transportation for sure. But let's just talk about how far we are from that right now, because have you been to the grocery store lately? Oh my gosh. It's like a bag full of groceries costs you $50 now. It's terrible. So I wonder, are things going to get better, or are the prices just going to keep going up? In fact, I've really been wondering about that a lot here lately, and I came across a little video that got me to thinking about the economy. And it's like, I wonder if we have anybody here local who could talk with me about our local economy and kind of tell us, what we can expect. Are prices going to keep going up? Are we in is inflation going to keep going? Are we in a disinflation? Are we in a deflation? What exactly is happening? Because some prices are coming down, but then again, some prices are not. So I reached out to the Marshall County Economic Development Council, and their president and CEO is going to be with me this morning at 9 o'clock. Matt Arnold in studio to talk about the economy, to help us talk about how we can all have money to get those flying cars one day. So I want you to be here, and just in case you can't be here live on the radio, we're going to have it on social as well. So Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube will be live there at the same time. Just wanted to give you a heads up. That's coming up at 9 o'clock. Matt Arnold, President and CEO of Marshall County Economic Development Council, going to be here in studio with me. So I want you to be here, okay? All right. Hey, I love having fun, and I love talking about serious topics too. And the economy, it's a pretty serious deal. You got to stretch your dollar further and further these days, We're all feeling it. So, hey, be here, okay? Getting older, it's so much fun, isn't it? Your body aches. You're not as strong as you used to be. You tucker out a little easier. Yeah, you get wrinkles and gray hairs, and wow, things start sagging. Not fun. Let's talk about it next. The hair. I mean, come on. As I get older, I get ear hair, and it's like, no, I can't stand it. I'm constantly checking to see if I have ear hair because, ooh. And could somebody please explain to me that little flappy skin underneath your arm? What's that about? It's like you wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. Anyway, it flaps around. I guess it's just something that comes along with age, right? Yeah. Well, you see, I'm 41. You're like, Steven, you're not old at all. I understand what you're saying, but you have to realize that I am the oldest I have ever been, the oldest I've ever experienced. So this is quite a wild ride. Yeah, and I know things change, especially for you ladies as you get older. Goodness gracious. Hot flashes. I've heard people talk about those. I don't want to experience them either. I came across this content creator who is so creative. Oh, and they're millennial, like me. Yeah, I know, right? It's weird to say I'm a millennial, but I was born in 82, and millennials are from 81 and on. So, anyway, I wonder if maybe you could relate with what's going on in this video. It makes a lot of sense to me. Take a listen to this.
Excuse me, where am I? The millennial crossover. I'm dead? Yes. Really? No, I'm kidding. You're just getting old. No, I'm not. Is this you? Where did you get that? Do you have a garden? Yeah. So? Do you knit, sew, embroider, or any other kind of stitching? Yes. Birdwatch? Occasionally. Are restaurants too loud? Is it getting difficult to drive at night? Do you save Ziploc bags? Yes. Do you wear reading glasses? No. Ha! Oh, okay. We must have made a mistake. Just sign here. Okay. Could you turn on some light? I'm having a hard time reading this. Exactly. Old. No! We have snacks and go to bed by 9. Oh, okay.
I love that. We have snacks and go to bed by 9. So there are some good things about getting older, right? Yeah, I birdwatch too. I was just noticing all of the robins, all of those. Actually, there were cardinals all around our bird feeders. I'm getting old too, aren't I? Those temperatures warming up slowly out there. We're basically in the mid-50s across most of North Alabama. About the hottest you're going to find right now is Bluntsville, sitting at 57 degrees. Your forecast is brought to you by Classic by the Lake Express Car Wash. They're a locally owned, locally operated, full-service family car wash and the home of the unlimited monthly wash plan. They are at the top of the mountain in Gunnersville, next door to Gunnersville Chevrolet. That's Classic by the Lake Express Car Wash. Now your word of life. Today from Hosea chapter 10, verse 12, in the New Living Translation of the Bible. I said, plant the good seeds of righteousness, and you'll harvest a crop of love. Plow up the hard ground of your hearts, for now is the time to seek the Lord, that he may come and shower righteousness upon you. That's good stuff right there. Hey, why don't you share it with somebody? Why don't you tell them what that scripture means to you, how you've seen it play out in your own life? There was a time when you had a really hard heart, and it had to be plowed up. And some seeds were planted. And look what's grown from it. And there's still things coming out of that garden, aren't there? Yeah. So we've got that word of life ready for you to share across all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, X, and TikTok. And it's always at the top of our website, 885jfm.com. I want to shout some people out real quick. I see you listening to us right now in Atlanta, Georgia. Also Reno County, Kansas. We've got Skyline, Alabama, and Gunnersville and Arab. We've got Mountain Borough on board. Our friend Joel Modis over in Palm Coast, Florida. He's back home from visiting some friends. We got some people listening to us right now down near San Juan, Puerto Rico. It looks like you are in what's considered, well, I don't know if it's pronounced the same as here in the States, but Carolina, Puerto Rico. Wow, thanks for hanging out with us there. Hey, I would love to know your name. If you would, email me, Stephen with a V at 885jfm.com. Tell me your name and I'll shout you out. I'll shout you out just right here on the radio by name. Again, it's Stephen at 885jfm.com. And we've got our friends in Helsinki, Finland hanging out too. So thank you so much for making us part of your day. Hey, I want to invite you to stick around because I've had questions about the economy. I know you have too, because prices have just been outrageous. Yeah, we saw those gas prices go way up and they've come down a little bit and they've started creeping back up again. How about those grocery prices? Yeah, crazy, right? Have you tried to eat out lately? Used to be $30 for a family of 3. Now it's more like $50 is normal for a family of 3. It's weird. So can we kind of get an understanding of what's going on? Actually, yes. We're going to try that. Coming up here at 9 o'clock, actually, we're going to have a very special guest in studio. I got to thinking about this economy stuff, and I thought, wonder if somebody local could talk with me in studio about it. So Matt Arnold, he's the president and CEO of Marshall County Economic Development Council. He's going to be here with me at 9 o'clock this morning. Really looking forward to that interview. We'll be live here on the radio, and we'll be on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube at the same time. Plus, if you have to miss it, you can always catch it there on the socials or on the podcast over on Spotify. Just type in Lifeline Morning Show Podcast this morning at 10:15. It should be posted there, and you can check it out for yourself. Share it with a friend. Subscribe. We'd love to see that podcast grow. I came across this guy a while back. His name is Brian Trent. He's from Hampton, South Carolina. He pastors the Lighthouse Church there. He and his family, they always post amazing content on the socials. I found them over on TikTok, and you can too. Just type in Trent Tribe and you can find him there. But he's always got such good stuff, great messages to kind of relate to us in ways that we understand. I love when a preacher can do that. He's doing a really good job of it. He's been partnering up too with some pretty big names in like the Gateway, the YouVersion Bible app. That's what it is. YouVersion Bible app. He's been putting together some Bible studies and things like that, working with them. I think that's so cool. But here's a little of what he has to say about overcoming your past. Take a listen.
If you struggle with overcoming your past, especially when it comes to what people call you, if they call you things based on who you used to be, what you used to do, then I want to encourage you because God wants to set you free from that. And I want to give you a practical way that you can begin the journey out of that. You see, I believe in studying Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John that one of the things that God has unveiled to me is that as we grow in our relationship with Him, that He tears off the old and He reveals the new that's inside of us. See, in Luke 5, you've got Jesus hops on a boat with a guy named Simon. Now, he would have called him Simon, and that's what everybody called him, right? I mean, that was his name. But if you go over and say Matthew 16, then you'll see Jesus having a conversation with Simon and saying, wait, let me reaffirm here. You're not Simon anymore. You're Peter. Peter, that means rock, because I'm going to build my church on you. You see, I don't believe that the Simon that was standing in the boat when Jesus got in it was ready to meet Peter yet. Simon wasn't ready to meet Peter yet. So isn't that the same guy? Well, yeah, but no. See, this guy was not ready to meet this guy. But through the progression of the relationship with Jesus, through the maturing relationship with Jesus, Jesus unveiled the greater truth of who God had made him to be. See, you may be struggling with your identity, overcoming these things, but be confident today that as you grow in your relationship with your Creator, He's going to unveil the greater truth of who He's made you to be, the truth that's been inside of you all your life. And He's not just going to call you that name for the heck of it. That name is calling you toward the purpose that He has for you.
Wow, I love that. What's another instance you can think of in the Bible where somebody's name was changed? Yeah. How about that guy who wrote like a third of the New Testament? What was his name, Paul? What did he start off as? Wasn't it Saul? Yeah. The very guy who was persecuting Christians and having them put to death was the one who became so influential in the faith. And that reality actually didn't hit him until he had an encounter with Jesus, right? But that was on the inside of him the whole time. this ability to become what he was meant to be was there, even when he was persecuting people, even in his past. So I draw so much inspiration from stories like that. And I love that the Bible is told in those stories, because stories matter in the way that they relate to us, the way that we can kind of feel ourselves in the same situation, because you have a past. At one time, you might have been, well, a lot meaner than you are right now. You might have been a lot more complacent than you are right now, but you had an encounter with Jesus and something's changed. It's changed for the better. It's made you a better person. And wow, it's put a smile on your face. And then you put a smile on other people's faces. So I just wanted to remind you of that with a little help from Brian Trent, that, hey, wow, you are awesome. God is with you. He has changed you. Now go out there and be a blessing. Good morning and welcome into the Lifeline Morning Show. I'm Steven. Thanks so much for hanging out with me. You know, every now and then I get an opportunity to bring some pretty amazing people into the studio. Get to talk with them a little bit about things going on in the community. Sometimes it's events, but this time, well, I saw a video the other day, and it was talking all about the economy and about how these prices just seem to keep going up and up and up, and then finally they'll try to trickle back down a little bit, but still, year over year, it seems things are a little more expensive this year than they were last year. And you know, I know the pandemic messed a lot of things up, but I'm just trying to make sense of it all myself, and I'm no expert in the matter. So I thought, hey, I wonder, do we have an expert on this matter I could actually talk with that could come in the studio, talk with us all about it, and kind of clear up some things? So I found him. His name is Matt Arnold, and he's here with me right now in the studio. Good morning, Matt. How are you, man?
Morning, Stephen. Thank you.
Hey, thanks so much for being here. So for everybody who doesn't know, you are the president and CEO of the Marshall County Economic Development Council.
That's correct.
All things economy is kind of what you talk about. It's what you focus on, what you study, right?
Yeah, that's correct. I'm not an economist. I'll tell you that right now. But I do study the economy. I read the Wall Street Journal. I read some periodicals. I listen to a lot of podcasts because it's part and parcel to what I do. And what we do is we try to bring jobs to Marshall County. We recruit new industry. We work with our local industries. It's important to keep on that and keep up with the information that's put out there, to know what to go after and to know how to go after it. And so I, like I say, I'm not an expert. I mean, economists, a lot of people talk about economists and, oh, they're great and all this stuff, but economists were really only put on this planet to make astrologers look good. So predictions are really, they're not that great.
Right. Yeah, even when you get into meteorology,
that's right.
They're educated guessers when it really comes down to it. So sometimes people are going to miss, sometimes people will hit. But, the economy, though, it seems like we're having to stretch our dollar further and further. And the video I saw the other day talking about this was talking about some differences between inflation, deflation, and then what's called disinflation.
Correct.
And I was just trying to wrap my head around that. Can you kind of spell things out for us when it comes to those things?
Well, I will say this about inflation.
Okay.
It's made me a much stronger man.
Really?
Yes, I can now lift $80 worth of groceries with my pinky finger.
That's good.
Just saying.
That's a good one, man.
No, deflation is something you don't want. Right. Deflation leads to a bad economy. Companies go out of business. People lose jobs. That's when prices actually go down and go way down. And that's happened several times. I think it's happened a few times in this country. It led to the Great Panic of 1889, I forget. But disinflation is where there's always going to be inflation, but it moves up. The prices move up slower.
Right.
A lot slower, and that's happened this year. The inflation rate for December was 3.1. Economists are expecting 3.2 for January. Okay, well, we can take that. That's a far cry from the 6.5 we had for the year of 2022. So I'll take 3.2 over 6.5 any old day.
Exactly. Yeah. So I'm loving seeing when prices come down, but it seems like year after year, like you said, things are going to continue to rise. But I mean, let's take a look at those prices you see at the grocery store or the prices you see at the pump, at the gas station. It's like, it's so much more expensive. Then it'll come down a little bit, then it'll go back up. And I know that things fluctuate in the markets as far as the price of oil and things like that. But as we were talking about this a little before, you said really that fuel has a lot to do with things.
It does. Fuel fuels our economy. We don't have the cars that that run on air yet, which apparently some people in this world won't.
Yeah.
Batteries aren't where they need to be, and we really don't even have the grid for to power the electric cars that they want. I think we will move away from oil at some point. There's a lot of things on the horizon. Hydrogen vehicles will be the future. Electric vehicles are a stopgap measure. But I saw something the other day, and this was fascinating. I'd heard about this, but I thought it was kind of pie in the sky. It's a water-powered engine.
Ooh.
Now, how does water work? Well, they've actually had several prototypes. A guy invented it in the 1970s, and was harassed by the oil companies, and they said it was an aneurysm, but his brother thought he was poisoned.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the way it works is water is made of oxygen and hydrogen, and by using electrolysis, it's hard to get that word out.
Yeah.
Electrolysis, you can separate those two atoms, and then you still have the hydrogen, and of course the oxygen is just emitted, and but the hydrogen goes directly into the engine to power the vehicle, as opposed to the big problem with hydrogen vehicles has been the tanks. Man, you hit a hydrogen tank.
Yeah.
Ain't gonna be nothing left of either driver.
Right.
And so that's been the real problem. And so, I mean, this is years away, but eventually we will move away from oil. But we can't right now, and we shouldn't. People are trying to make us do that, but we shouldn't. And the cost of this oil, particularly in the United States, because we had a great supply of oil, we were self-sufficient in oil.
Right.
We're not anymore.
Right.
And that's been by design. Not going to get into the politics of that, but
I understand.
But we are not self-sufficient in oil anymore, and so because of that, we are paying more for it because we're buying it from other countries, and they know they can raise prices on us, and so I mean, things don't just miraculously show up at the grocery store.
Exactly.
They have to be delivered there, and we have a bunch of heroes, these hardworking truckers around the country that deliver our goods, and that's just part of it. I mean, other transportation. I mean, plane flight. Have you booked a plane flight lately?
I've tried, but those flights are so expensive.
Yeah, it's crazy, and so fuel really drives our economy. Oil really drives our economy, and will for the foreseeable future. And so that plays into inflation. There's a lot of things that play into inflation. Interest rates, play into our inflation rate. Interest rates went through the roof. I thought it was going to stall the housing market because we were having a housing boom. It didn't, but it did slow it. And I talk to realtors all the time. I got a lot of friends, local friends here that are realtors, and they said, we're still selling houses, but not at the clip we were in 2021 or in 2019, 2020, even. And if you look at it, I mean that's because the mortgage rates have gone up. And on the other side, I mean, you look at CD rates. I looked at a CD rate. We were looking at moving some money out of our reserve fund at the office, and because I mean it's just sitting there in an account. It's just sitting there in a checking account, and I looked at a 1 year, and this was a local bank. I looked at a one year CD. It was 5.1. This was in November. And I just didn't pull the trigger on it. I should have. I just never did. I got busy in the holidays and just never did. Yeah. I pulled it yesterday. It's 4.8.
Wow.
So it's getting. The banks are paying less because they're like a scale.
Yeah.
When one goes up, the other goes down.
Exactly.
And so that plays into inflation. But And GDP growth is another thing. GDP growth is something that helps. We had a healthy GDP growth last year, 3.1. Two negative quarters of GDP growth generally is considered by the NBER, the National Board of Economic Research, to be a recession. You're in a recession if you're two consecutive. we had two consecutive quarters in 2022. They didn't declare it a recession because they blamed it on the pandemic. They wanted to wait to see if we came out of it. Third quarter 2022, we did. So we are not in a recession, but that doesn't mean we can't get back into one.
Right.
But the biggest thing that causes inflation is government spending, because unlike you and me, if we spend more than we make, we can borrow it. Mm-hmm. I mean, they can too, the treasury bonds, but they can also print money.
Right.
And when you print money, you put more dollars into the economy. And so that means your dollars are worth less. And so things cost more.
Yeah.
And I mean, go back to my opener. How can I pick up $80 worth of groceries with my pinky? Because that $80 may have been, $10. And that's a hyperbolic,
right.
example. But
yeah,
I'm buying less for more money.
Mm-hmm.
And so to buy at the levels I was buying at the grocery store, I'm going to pay more.
Yeah.
And that's about as simplified inflation as I can do it. So.
Well, I know that we're dealing with it individually, but when you talk about local organizations or even local government or people who are trying to put together these big bids for, say, construction, like we all pass by the causeway there by the Piggly Wiggly, and you see that there's a lot of construction going on. I guess Parks and Rec, they're working on a project there, but
the ball fields.
Yeah, the ball fields, and it's been something beautiful to see. You always love to see advancement, see new stuff go up. But I imagine those prices, the costs that went into making that happen.
That's right.
How did that really play out?
Well, the mayor and the council had approved it. They'd gotten bids on it. I don't remember the numbers. I think it was $4 million. I forget. This was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
But they had to get the Corps. There were some wetlands involved, and so they had to get the Army Corps of Engineers involved. And by the time they got that approval from them, the permits that they needed, which was maybe a year, maybe, I don't know, I forget how long, it had doubled.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the city had the money, and we needed those new ball fields. And the city council and the mayor are committed to making our rec center top notch.
Yeah.
And they're doing just that. But so they did it. But I mean, a lot of people couldn't do that.
Yeah.
I'll give you a personal example.
Okay.
My wife and I, a couple of years ago, we're going to do a home renovation. We had a lot of equity in the home, and so we thought, well, let's take a home equity line and do it. I got an estimate from a local contractor. It was within our budget. I said, okay. And then I went and investigated. By the time I was ready to pull the trigger, I investigated what the interest rates would be, and I said, I really don't need it that bad. Our house is great as it is. Yeah. We don't need that renovation right now.
Yeah.
And now the costs have probably gone up. I'm sure the costs have gone up since then on doing it. That wasn't the problem. The problem was the interest rates had gone up.
Yeah.
And so it wasn't worth it to me to pay that money and pay that interest rate to renovate our house.
Yeah, I got you. Well, hey, I want you to stick around. We're going to hit a music break real quick, but we're going to come back and talk a little bit more about something that we all notice too, especially at local restaurants, local businesses. Mm-hmm. It seems like less and less people are in there. So let's talk about employment coming up. Okay,
sure.
Cool. Let's hit a song. Here we go. I've got some Jordan St. Cyr with Rescue right here on the Lifeline Morning Show. Thanks so much for hanging out. Hey, we are sitting down with Matt Arnold. He is a pretty cool guy. We've been talking a little bit behind the scenes about stuff going on in his life with his daughter and economic stuff here around Marshall County. It's really been a cool conversation. So if you miss any of the behind the scenes, you can always check it out over on our socials, Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube, because we're live there right now as well. But Matt Arnold is the president and CEO of Marshall County Economic Development Council. So gracious to carve out some time, come in here and talk with us a little bit about the economy. So we've been talking inflation, deflation, disinflation. It's really hard to wrap your head around all that, but he's done a really good job of explaining that. But I want to talk about something that we all notice. If you go to like Cracker Barrel, you go in there and if you take a look at the seating area, right? Maybe half the dining room is full. And they tell you, sorry, it's going to be a 30 to 45 minute wait. That's a little disheartening. It's like, wait a second. Half the restaurant is empty. What is going on here? But from what I understand, it's because they don't have the employees they need. And I don't know. I've kind of had some questions about that. Are they hiring as much as they used to? Are they trying to keep those numbers low? What have you noticed about that, Matt?
Well, it's true, and a lot of it is because there's a lot of reasons for it actually.
Yeah,
the pandemic didn't help.
Right.
It's not just a restaurant business; it's everything. I mean, I know of a local industry here, a local industry in this county that announced a major expansion in 2018-19, I guess.
Yeah,
built a new building, was going to add 60 jobs. And they never could they couldn't find those jobs. So they kept outsourcing what they were doing to another state. And they rent out that building for warehouse now. And what does that say about our society?
Right.
But it's our unemployment is solid. Our unemployment rate is really good. Our unemployment rate for December was 2.1%. It stays there. Our unemployment rate in Marshall County is consistently the second lowest, or usually tied for the second lowest in the state.
Wow.
Shelby County is always number one.
Yeah.
But Marshall, Coleman, and Morgan, sometimes Limestone, are generally tied for second. And 2%, I mean, that's great. That's how economic developers used to be measured by. Well, what's your unemployment rate? Are you bringing jobs? But the problem is, that's because there's not as many people working. The real number you want to look at is labor participation rates.
Okay.
And ours is healthy. It's healthier than some counties. We were the fifth in the state in 2020. In November 2023 was when the preliminary numbers came out at 61.6%. The Alabama state average is 57.1%, and the U.S. average is 62.5%. So we're pretty well up there. You've got counties in Alabama that are 30.5%.
Wow.
Can you imagine that?
Wow.
30.5% of the eligible body people able to work between the ages of 18 and 65.
Yeah.
Choose not to.
Wow.
I mean, that's mind-boggling.
Yeah.
What does that say about our society?
Right.
And what causes that? Well, there's a lot of things that cause that. There's just our breakdown in society. I think our family breakdown. I think the lack of solid male figure in many households.
Mm-hmm.
I get into some religious implications of it but that's neither here nor there. But I think Satan can use that, actually. I'll just go ahead and say it. I think Satan can use that to dishearten people.
Yeah.
And that's what he does. And but probably one of the biggest things, again, is government.
Yeah.
Not to get political.
I got you.
But, we've made it so easy to not work. So easy not to work. That it pays people not to work.
Yeah.
And I don't know. I don't know. I feel for business owners. I really do. I picked up a pizza last night at Domino's after I play guitar in our praise band at church, and I played at Celebrate Recovery last night, and I picked up a pizza for me and my wife, and I'd ordered it. It had been there for a minute because we ran long, but so it was ready. But I pulled up to the window, and there was a sign on the window that says, "Be patient with us. We were very short-staffed."
Yeah.
So eventually the guy came. It took him about 5 minutes to come to the window, and when he came to the window, he said, "What's your name?" And I told him. I said, "How many people you got here right now?" He goes, 2.
Whoa.
I worked at the Domino's in college.
Yeah.
There was never 2 people there.
Right.
I mean, maybe at 11 o'clock at night, right before we closed, but a driver and the manager, but not at 7 o'clock at night. There was at any given moment, just working in there, not the drivers, the drivers, just any given moment in there, there'd be at least a half a dozen people making those pizzas.
Yeah.
Plus the manager. The owner was always around too half the time. it's just mind-boggling that that's the way it is now.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was in college, I wanted to work. I worked three jobs at the same time while I was in college.
Right.
I worked at a bank. I worked at Rich's, and then I had a great gig with Domino's because I'd worked there a couple of years. I could just call a manager up on Friday afternoon when I didn't have anything to do.
Yeah.
I don't have anything to do tonight. He goes, come on in. You can work.
That's great.
I can make $50.
Yeah.
I mean, people don't want to do that.
Right.
They don't. They're complacent. And like I say, it's not just in the restaurants; it's in manufacturing. I hear it every day, which is why one of the things we're doing with Marshall County Economic Development Council is we made a major pivot a few years ago.
Yeah.
I've always been about recruiting industry. It's what I do. It's what I've done. I've done it for almost 30 years, and I love it. I love shaking a hand and closing a deal. I love shaking a man's hand and saying, or woman's hand in some cases,
right?
And them saying, we're coming to your town. You know, I mean, I'll still remember what I felt, the joy that I felt when a project I've been working on almost a year, Newman Technology in Albertville.
Mm-hmm.
We're walking into the mayor's office and it's pouring down rain, and the Japanese people went in front of us, and the project manager from Alabama Department of Commerce walks up and stops me right in the lobby, and he goes, "They're about to tell you won this project." And we had competed head to head with Gadsden on that against my mentor, Mike McCain, who was my mentor.
Yeah.
We beat him, and I'll just never forget the joy I've felt. That other industries, that's just the one I remember the most because that was so vivid the way that happened. You're about to win this project, and but we've made a major pivot because it doesn't make as much sense to spend taxpayer dollars, public taxpayer dollars, to bring in new industries if there's not the people to fill the jobs.
Yeah.
Now that's not going to say we're not going to look a gift horse in the mouth.
Right.
If somebody says we want to come to Marshall County, and I've got 2 or 3 on the hook right now.
Really?
But we're not going to say no. But we're not spending the resources we used to. I don't do trade shows anymore.
Yeah.
I don't spend the money going after site consultants like I used to. Site consultants are people who a company hires to look for their workers. I mean, look for their new location.
Yeah.
And we don't. If you court them, well, hopefully then that's going to lead to, them thinking good about your community. And so you used to spend a lot of resources courting those guys. We don't do that anymore.
Yeah.
We're putting all our money into workforce development, and the heck with the current generation. We're going after the kids. We're going after the high school kids, even elementary. There's even elementary programs out there. I'd be a whole nother program in itself, and I'd want to bring my director of workforce development, Laura Braswell, in here to talk about that. But there's a lot of good stuff, and the good news is on that front, the school systems finally get it, and I don't mean just ours. I mean all of them.
Yeah,
the state of Alabama, and I will say this was a very good thing that Governor Bentley did. He got us going on that road. He laid the foundation, the infrastructure for the workforce development, the career tech advancement, the career tech promotion that's going on right now in the school systems in Alabama. And that's what we need, because we've been pushing people to go to college for decades. You got to go to college, you ain't gonna be nothing.
Right.
Well, that's not the case anymore. It may have been the case. And hey, you're speaking to a man who is on the board of trustees at the University of Montevallo. So I still believe in a good 4-year education.
Right.
But I also believe that not everybody needs to go to college or wants to go to college and shouldn't be forced into going to college. And the school systems need to make that available. And they're doing that. We've got a lot of great things going on in Marshall County right now. The Career Tech Center that Snead is building at the top of the mountain is going to be spectacular.
They're in a hurry on that thing too. They've been just getting it.
They got behind. They had some major site issues underground, and they had to fix that. So I think they're about 30 or 40 days behind.
Okay.
But they're pretty confident it's gonna be ready for the fall. But they're gonna have welding. They're gonna have machining. They're still tweaking all the programs they're gonna have in there. But there's so many things. I mean, the Marshall County Technical School, the CDL program.
Yeah.
I got they got a new little toy there last year, and I got to go play with it. It's a tractor trailer simulator.
Oh, cool!
It is the coolest freaking thing, man. You've got these 3 huge screen TVs around you, and you can either do it in automatic or you can do it in manual.
Right.
I'm grinding gears, backing into the trailer next to me. I mean, it is the coolest thing.
Does it give you the real feel like when
it
you
does?
See it going up
does.
and down?
It goes up
man.
and down.
That is cool.
Oh yeah, it is. It is so neat.
Wow.
But that's a great profession.
Yes, it is.
And they make great money.
Right.
I was talking to a guy. Our heat's been out at the office. Now this week it hadn't. It didn't. I didn't notice it until Monday, so it's not been bad. But we've had some problems with our heating, and our landlord's been trying to get it fixed. And the HVAC guy's been over there a couple times. And I got to talking to him the other day, and I said, man, do you like what you do? And he goes, I love what I do. Yeah. He goes, maybe not in the summer when it's 100 degrees and I'm crawling under a house, but I go, how long have you been doing it? 2 years.
Wow.
So when'd you graduate? 2.5 years ago. And, he's making money. He said, I thought about going to college, but I thought, no, I just want to do something. And we need to be about encouraging more of that.
Yeah.
And I shook his hand and thanked him. I said, thank you for wanting to work. I've said that to a lot of people lately because the more I see it and the more I see hard workers, the more I'm thankful for them. A great barstool philosopher named Cliff Clavin once stated, somebody had to build the Sistine Chapel before Michelangelo could paint it.
Wow.
He always had those great liners on Cheers, but he's actually become John Ratzenberger has become a great kind
of a proponent,
kind of like Mike Rowe, of career tech and workforce development. He's big into that now. That's all he does. Is make videos and promote that. We need to be about that, and so we try to encourage kids and show them the opportunities, that are abound out there. And I think things will get better. I'm long on the United States. I always have been. And it may sound cliche, and some people would disagree with me. Even probably some pastors would disagree with me. But I think we're still at heart a Christian nation.
Yeah.
I still believe we are at heart a nation under God, and as long as we are, God's going to continue to bless us. And so that's why I'm long on the United States. On the economy, on the workforce, all of it. We're gonna get through this. We're gonna be fine.
Man, that's encouraging. That's what I wanted to hear because we're all struggling out here, man, and you feel it too. We all feel it. But I think, I love what you said.
Yep.
There's a light at the end of the tunnel, right?
Absolutely.
That's
well,
great.
If for no other reason, Jesus will return someday.
That's it, man. That's it. That's the hope that we have above everything else, And I love
expectation
how the Bible talks about He's our source and He's our supply. So He's going to take care of us through this. But getting to understand a little bit about what's going on, I think is so important. So thank you so much for helping us with that.
Absolutely. Enjoyed it, Steve. I'll be anytime.
All right. So if people want to find out more about you, they can always go to your website, right?
Absolutely. www.marshallteam.org.
Perfect.
Or our Facebook page. Oh, Laura does a great job making our Facebook page rock.
Oh, very cool. I had to shout her out. Laura, keep it up. I've got to shout some people out. I've noticed new listeners over here on the stream. So, Louisville, Kentucky, thank you for being here. We've got Reno County, Kansas. Thank you. San Antonio, Texas. This is the first time I've seen the pin drop on my map in San Antonio. Thank you for listening. And hey, I probably don't know you by name, so if you would, send me an email. It's Stephen with a V at 885jfm.com. Let me know your name so I can shout you out properly here on the radio. We've also got Joel Modis. He's hanging out with us down in Palm Coast, Florida. We've got Skyline, Alabama. We've got Gunnersville and Arab, Alabama on as well. And we can't forget our friends over in Helsinki, Finland. Thank you for making us part of your day. We also had Puerto Rico on a little while ago. So, hey, you can listen to us from anywhere. Real easy to do that too. 885jfm.com. Click that on now button, press play, and you're good to go. So how are you doing? How's everything going between your ears? I know sometimes it's a battle up there, right? Sometimes you're facing some insecurities. Sometimes you're ruminating about times that you've messed up. You're thinking about your past. And sometimes you've got this great plan of a future, but you've got to implement some changes. There are a lot of things going on, a lot of things to do, right? Plus, I mean, there's all the distractions too. I mean, just about the time you think everything's going well, it seems like something rips, tears, or breaks. Hey, we're not immune to that at all. But I do think maybe you need to hear this, because we all need to hear this.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but I'm a therapist and even I did. So I'm sure someone else does too. Perfection is not the requirement of progress. Period. You do not have to implement change perfectly for it to be impactful. I'm a big believer that self-care is so much deeper than just like massages and nails and all that. Self-care is about mindset. It's about learning to lean into mindsets and frames of mind that feel empowering to us rather than limiting. So, when we are focused on progress rather than perfection, we allow room for human error and for us to sometimes make mistakes. And the incredible part is we can learn from mistakes and do better and keep moving forward, making progress in the direction that we want to go.
I think
it's not a requirement of progress.
Samantha gets it. Thank you so much for those words, Samantha. We needed to hear that. So, progress. How are you making progress? You don't have to be perfect as you do it. So just take the next right step and just keep moving forward. Now it's time for your inspiring quote of the day from Brené Brown today. It says, "One day you'll tell your story of how you overcame what you went through, and it will be someone else's survival guide." Wow. You know, so many times in the middle of a trial, a test, in the middle of a storm, we wonder, what's the purpose here? Because let's face it, we're angry, we're mad, we're like distraught, we're in despair sometimes. It seems like nothing is going our way. What is going to happen? It doesn't feel like I'm going to make it, but yet somehow God brings us through. Well, there's a purpose for it. I'm sure you're made better because of it. But besides that, you've got a story to tell somebody else who might be facing the same exact thing. I mean, a prime example of that is just parenthood. You're able to help your kids navigate some struggles that you had when you were a kid and tell them how you handled it and give them a hand up, you know? It's like, hey, try doing it this way and see what happens. Yeah, well, we can do that for other people in our spiritual family too. So I wanted to remind you of that. Use your testimony. Use your story to help somebody else. It's so empowering. And to be the hands and feet of Jesus in somebody else's life, wow, it's so humbling. So try it today. Tell your story. Somebody needs to hear it. Hey, thanks so much for hanging out with me. I'll see you right back here on Monday from 6 to 10 for another Lifeline Morning Show. I can't wait. Hey, I've got a little idea I want to pass along to you, okay? So I just used that phrase, being the hands and feet of Jesus in somebody else's life. And I got to thinking about that. I want to just kind of clarify. It's not that you are Jesus to somebody else. It's that you are offering yourself as a conduit for Jesus to work through. That your hands can be used by him to do his will. That your feet can be used by him to do what he has set out for the people in your life. There are many times the Holy Spirit will draw us to certain situations. He'll nudge us into what we should do because he wants to work through us. That's what I believe. So being the hands and feet of Jesus is not that you're assuming this responsibility of being Jesus. We could never do that. We would never measure up because it's only through his gift that we are even part of this spiritual family. So I just wanted to remind you of that God uses us to touch other people. And it's not that we're important. It's just that we're available. And so I pray that's the cry of your heart today, is to be available to whatever God has for you to do. And a great way of setting yourself up for that is just praying, asking God, do in my life whatever you will today. Take me places you want me to go. Lord, speak through me. I'll go where you tell me to go. I'll do what you tell me to do. I'll say what you want me to say. I'll be what you want me to be. Praying prayers like that change lives. Yours included. I just wanted to remind you of it. Hey, I'm so glad I can do life with you. Thank you so much for hanging out with me here on the Lifeline Morning Show podcast. Would you do me a favor and share it with somebody? Thank you. See you next time.